between Tawaf and Say. Between Tawaf and Say. When completing the Tawaf prayer in Ibrahim's position, you must go to Masa, which is the space between the mountain of Safa and Marwa. It encompasses about a quarter mile. Run between those two mountains 7 times. Start at the top of Safa. Part of the path is the level of Kaaba, where you should do the Harwala. Next, you walk normally to the foot of Marwa. Sa'i is a surge. It is a movement with an aim. It is depicted by running and hurrying. During Tawaf circumambulation, you acted as Hajra. In Ibrahim's position, you act as Ibrahim and Ismail. Once you begin trying Sa'i, you are acting as Hajra again. Here is a true demonstration of oneness. Shapes, patterns, colors, degrees, personalities, borders, distinctions, and distances are destroyed. Man in his nakedness and stripped humanity are on the scene. Nothing but faith, belief, and action are eminent. Here nobody is spoken of. Even Ibrahim, Ishmael, and Hajra are only names, words, and symbols. Whatever exists is moving constantly, humanity and spirituality, and between them only discipline. Furthermore, this is Hajj, a decision for an eternal movement in a certain particular direction. It is also how the whole world moves. Here in Sa'i, you are to play the role of Hajra, a woman, poor, belittled Ethiopian slave and maid for Sarah. These are all her qualifications in the human social elitist system, in the system of polytheism, but not in the system of monotheism. This slave is the addresser of Allah, the mother of his great prophets, the messenger of Allah himself, and the representative of Allah's prettiest and dearest creatures. In this show, Hajj, she is the first and distinguished character. In the house of Allah, she is the only woman, a mother. Allah told Hajra to obey him, and he would provide for her and her son. Allah would take care of their lives, needs, and future. O Hajar, the example of submission and obedience, the great champion of faith and reliance in love, you will be protected under my umbrella. Hajra totally submitted to the will of Allah. She left a child in this valley, barren valley. This was the command of Allah and the order of love. However, the model of submission did not sit quietly, hand on hand. Soon she arose and all alone tried to run from one dry mountain to the other, searching for water, hoping for rescue, constantly searching, moving and struggling. She decided to rely on her own self, her feet, her will, and her mind. Hajar was a responsible woman, a mother in love, all alone, wandering, searching, enduring extreme pain, disturbed, deprived of support, lacking shelter, homeless, isolated from a society, classless, raceless, and hopeless. Yet despite all these drawbacks, she was still hopeful. A lonely slave, a victim, a stranger, exiled and disgusted, rejected from the capitalistic aristocratic system, hated by the nations, hated by the classes and races, hated by the family. This black maid was all alone with a child in her arms. She was far away from a town and country of more privileged race. Wandering in this strange, desolate desert land, she was like a prisoner in these mountains. All alone, she was restless but hopeful and determined in her search for water, going from one area to the other. All alone, running on her feet to the top of these mountains, not sitting and crying helplessly, but in search of water. This is the promoter of Ibrahim's Sunnah tradition, not a god, but a slave, Hajra, not seeking the mercy of fire, but of water. Water, yes, water. Not unseen, not metaphysical, not love, not submission, not obedience, not soul or self, not a philosophical view of life, not in heaven, not in the hereafter. No, no, no. In this world and its drinking water. From a fountain on this earth, it's purely material. The same liquid which flows on earth, water, is that which life is so thirsty for. The body requires it, since it becomes blood in your vessels. It is the milk in the mother's breast which satisfies the child's thirst. Searching for water symbolizes searching for material life on this earth. It is genuine need which shows the relation of mankind to nature itself. It is the way of finding heaven in this world and enjoying its fruits on this earth. Sai is physical effort, work. It means exerting your efforts and running after water and bread in order to satisfy your thirst and feed your hungry children. It is a way to achieve a better life. Your son is thirsty and awaiting you in a dry, barren desert. It's your duty to find a fountain, to bring him some water. Sai is the struggle and search for your needs out of the heart of nature. It's an attempt to get water out of the stone. Sai, purely material, a material need, a material aim, a material act. Economy, nature, and work. Needs, material, and human. Surprisingly, in terms of distance, there are only a few steps or few moments from Tawaf to Sai. Nevertheless, a great difference exists between the two. Tawaf, absolute love. Sai, absolute wisdom. Tawaf, all him. Sai, all you. Tawaf, Almighty's will only. Sai, your will only. Tawaf as a butterfly who encircles the candle until it burns, and its ashes are gone with the wind, disappearing in love and dying in light. Sai as an eagle who flies above these black mountains with the support of its strong wings to find its food and seize its bait in the midst of stones. It conquers both the earth and the sky. The wind blows the earth and the sky. The wind blows so softly against the eagle's wings. Flying freely above the sky, heaven signifies its ambition. Under its wing, the earth is so despised. The earth is also conquered by the eagle's sharp and prudent look. Tawaf is mankind in love with the truth. Sai is mankind self-supported by facts. Tawaf is the exalted man. Sai is the powerful man. Tawaf, love, worship, spirit, morality, beauty, goodness, holiness, value, truth, faith, righteousness, suffering, sacrifice, devotion, humility, slavery, perception, enlightenment, submission, Allah's might and will, metaphysics, the unseen, for others, for the hereafter, and for Allah. Wahdahu la sharika lah. And whatever the Easterner's spirit is motivated by and in love with, Sai, wisdom, logic, needs, living, facts, objectives, earth, material, nature, privileges, thinking, science, industry, policy, benefit, joy, economy, civilization, body, freedom, willpower, mastery in this world, for the self, and whatever the Westerners struggle for. Tawaf Allah's only, Sai mankind only. Tawaf Allah only, Sai mankind only. Tawaf soul and nothing else, Sai body alone. Tawaf pains of being and worrying about the hereafter, Sai joys of living and conveniences of this world. Tawaf searching for thirst, Sai searching for water. Tawaf the butterfly, Sai the eagle. Hajj is the combination of Tawaf and Sai, the material and the spiritual and the material. That's why Islam is a complete religion. It resolves the contradictions that have confused mankind throughout history. materialism or idealism, rationalism or enlightenment, this world or the hereafter, Epicureanism or asceticism, the will of Allah or the will of man, to rely on him or the will of man, to rely on him or rely on oneself. Allah, Ibrahim's Lord, will teach you the answer. Both, both. A lesson not by words, perception, science, nor philosophy, but by showing you an example of a human. This example from whom all the worldly philosophers, scientists, and great thinkers who are searching for faith and facts are to learn the great lesson of Allah is again a woman, a black Ethiopian slave, and a mother. It is Hajj who Allah has chosen. To the command of love she submits herself to his absolute will. Leaving her town and country, she brings her baby child far away and leaves him in this dry and lonely, barren valley, Makkah. She relies absolutely on Allah and his love with the power of faith. She denies all the logics and the rationales. This is tawaf. But unlike many of the so-called righteous people or worshippers, she does not sit quietly beside her son. She does not wait for a miracle to occur or for an invisible hand to bring some fruits from heaven or to flow a river or quench their thirst. Nay, she leaves her son in the hands of love and immediately arises to run, having decided to search for water and try her best. And now in the uncivilized and dry mountains of Mecca, a woman alone, thirsty, responsible, a stranger, wanders in the fruitless search for water. O Allah, are we talking of Hajra or mankind? Hajar's efforts are useless. She returns desperately to her son, having tried her best. But to her astonishment, amazement, the child who was left under the umbrella of love in a state of thirst and restlessness has dug under the sands with his heels. At the moment of maximum desperation and from an unexpected place, suddenly there appears, by miracle, by the power of needs and the mercy of Allah, a humming, the sound of water. It is Zamzam, a sweet and life-giving fountain of water flowing from a stone. This lesson, to find water by love, not by effort, but after effort. Though you cannot approach him by working hard, O my heart, you should try your best. Oh, in love, try your best. You, the absolute faith and absolute reliance. Try 7 times, which is the same number of times you circumambulated during tawaf. But this time do not pursue circular path that finally leads you to no place except where you originally started, i.e. 0. Do not travel in an empty circle, reaching nowhere, gaining nothing and moving aimlessly, working to fill the stomach and filling the stomach in order to be prepared for work. Finally continue on until the time of death. Tawaf. Living not for the sake of living, but for the cause of Allah. Sigh, trying your best not just for yourself, but for the people. Here your path is straight and not a circle. You do not move in circles, but walk straight ahead. In a migration, beginning at one point and reaching your destiny, it is going from Safa to Marwa. During Sa'i, you repeat a back and forth action 7 times. The figure 7 is odd, not even, so that your Sa'i ends up in Safa, not at the point where you began. 7 times, 7 a symbolic figure, represents always all your life to Marwa. Start at Safa, which means pure love for others. Your destination is Marwa, which means the ideal of method, a sense of honor, generosity, and forgiveness towards others. Who are the others? Those who are trying with you. What do I know? This is only my understanding. This is only my understanding, and not all that it signifies. It means annihilating and drawing yourself into the ocean of love, coming out clean and sinless, and stepping in Ibrahim's position. From there, O man, a stranger, homeless, and exiled from the earth, a sense of responsibility urges you to search for water in the mirage. Go to the top of Safa as Hajra did. Have belief and faith, i.e. See the white flood of people trying, running down from Safa restlessly, and in a state of thirst they search for water in this hot and dry desert. They continue to the top of Marwa, where again they find no water. With dry lips, empty hands, and sad looks, they return to Safa and start their search again. This procedure is repeated again and again 7 times, yet water is not found, nor is the thirst quenched. But they do reach Marwa, and you, O a drop from the top of Safa, join this white river of wandering, struggling, and thirst. Draw yourself into this flood of people. Try your best to sigh with the others. In the middle of your sigh, at the level of the Kaaba, hurry up along with the others. The end of sigh. At the last point of your sigh at Marwa, cut your hair short or clip your nails. Remove your ihram garments and wear your regular clothes. Feel free. With empty hands and in a state of thirst, leave Marwa. Go find your Ishmael. Listen carefully. Don't you hear the humming water from here? See. The thirsty birds are all flying above the dry desert. Zamzam has quenched Ismail's thirst. A tribe of strangers from the very far lands has occupied this empty valley. The thirsty people of the earth have made a circle around Zamzam. A city of stones has grown in this thirsty and desperate desert. There has been a shower of revelation, a house of freedom and love. After returning from Sai, while thirsty and lonely, your loneliness will end here. Zamzam is flowing under your Ishmael's foot. People are all around you. What else do you see? You have gotten so close to Allah wahdahu la sharika that it's as if He's your next door neighbor. O man, tired of sigh, rely on love. O responsible man, try your best, since your Ishmael is thirsty. O the one in love, wish, hope, and love, and wish, do miracles. And you, Hajj, who are coming from Sai, from the dry desert of your existence and the depth of your neglected nature, a fountain is now humming. Listen carefully to your heart. You will hear this humming. People who have come from all over the world, from the mountain of Marwa, go towards Zamzam. Have a few drinks, wash your face, and bring some of that water back to where you come from, so that you may present it as a gift to your people. Subhanallah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. The Great Pilgrimage. It is the 9th day of Zulhijjah, and the Greater Pilgrimage has started. Where are you? It does not matter. Wherever you may be, at Masjid al-Haram, near Kaaba, in your hotel, or on the street, now you must depart for the Greater Pilgrimage. Wear your ihram attire and leave Makkah. How surprising to leave Makkah behind you. Was not Qibla here in Makkah? Yes, it was. But the Greater Pilgrimage commences by leaving the Kaaba. Were you not supposed to depart from your families, homes, lands, etc., in order to come to Mecca and face the Qibla? Yes, you were. However, that was during the lesser Hajj, so to speak, the Umrah. And why should you leave Kaaba now? Because you are going to start the greater Hajj. Subhanallah. Deciding to go to Mecca is not a total actualization of Hajj, nor are Kaaba or Qibla the goals of Hajj. These are misunderstandings on your part. The leader of monotheism, after all, Ibrahim, teaches you that Hajj does not end in Kaaba, but begins the moment you leave the Kaaba. The Kaaba is not your destination, but the point from which you begin. Until now, at Kaaba, you were to become assimilated, ignore your personal interests, overcome your self-centeredness and your limitations, and discover yourself, your true being. Cast off all those layers, remember? O immigrant, who is going to see him, yani his Lord, from here on you will be pursuing a different path and entering a new land, having shed off those layers of the fox, etc. For Umrah and in Makkah you were to leave your house, but here for Hajj you must leave the house of Allah. At the verge of complete submission and the peak of your freedom, when you have discovered yourself, you are now qualified to obey this command. Leave the Kaaba, and now you are closer to me than the Kaaba. Visiting Kaaba during the lesser pilgrimage help you to achieve self-discovery and pureness. Now you are going to approach Allah, not to visit the house, but to see and encounter the owner, as Musa al-Islam once did. Unto Allah is the journeying, says the Quran. Kaaba is only the direction and not the destination. You started off by coming to Kaaba, but you are not to remain in Kaaba. Anywhere you stop, you will be lost and dead. O Hajj, who is starting this journey, who is always trying to approach him, O man, the Spirit of Allah, O the good deed, you came to Mecca. Do not stay here though, do not stop in the Haram. To give you direction so that you would not be misled by other Qiblas, Kaaba was your Qibla, showing you where your focus was. However, in Makkah, the Qibla is someplace else. You must decide to go there now and start a greater journey than coming to Makkah, the greater pilgrimage. So on the day of departure, the 9th of Zulhijjah, regardless of where you are, put on your ihram, turn your back on Makkah and move on. What place is holier and more respectful than Makkah, after all? Continue on and you will see. Arafat. Upon wearing your ihram garments and leaving Makkah, you will start traveling towards the east, Arafat, where you must remain until the sunset of the 9th day. Note, it is important to spend the maximum time on this day in Arafat, not just a few moments. On your way back, you will make a brief stop in Mahshar and then in Mina. Why? We will know shortly. In contrast to what you were told previously, that is, to go gradually and in a step-by-step manner, now you are to go restlessly and thirstily, like a true lover all the way to Arafat without a pause. From the morning of the 10th day until the 12th day or the 13th day, if you wish, you must remain in Mina. There are no signs to distinguish these three areas from each other. A narrow pass about 15 miles long joins the valley of Mecca. Along this strait there are no natural, historical or religious monuments nor indicators which separate one area from the other. The borders are only hypothetical stages of your actions. Another important factor is the emphasis placed upon staying at these three stages. The reason for this recommendation is beyond a simple pause in Arafat on all of the 9th day of the remaining in Meshur, only to collect 7 pebbles. You must stay at Mina on the 11th and the 12th days. These are the 2 days following the day of sacrifice, yani the 10th day. Even though you are almost finished by noontime of the 10th day, after offering your sacrifice, followed by the stoning of Satan, yet you are to still stay in Mina. As you can see, it is not to remain to reside, but it is a short stop on your way travelling with the caravan. Along this path you stop when they stop, and you start to move when they go, from one stage to the other. At every stage you enter, stop for a short period, and then move one stage. Since Mina is the last stage, you will stay there for 3 days. Remember again, it is not your destination. When do you actually finish this journey? Where is the caravan's destination? Never and nowhere. So where are you going? The answer is to eternity, towards Allah Himself. Allah is the Absolute, He is eternal. Therefore your journey is a movement towards the absolute truth and beauty, the absolute knowledge, the absolute power, eternity and perfection. It is a restless and eternal movement. On this journey, Allah is not the destination, but He is the direction. For man, everything is temporary, changing, perishing and dying, yet this eternal movement is continuous and the direction is always there. Quran 28:88 states, everything will perish save His countenance. You started from Mecca and came directly to Arafat. Now you move from stage to stage back to the Kaaba. Quran 11:56 states, lo, we are Allah's, and lo, unto Him we are returning. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. All that is discussed is movement. A going movement, turn, and a coming movement, return. There is always a movement towards something and not in something. This is why Hajj is an absolute move. It is not a journey, since every journey comes to an end. Hajj is an absolute goal, an external movement towards that goal. Therefore it is not a destination that one may reach, but a goal that one tries to approach. This is why on your return from Arafat, you are left in Mina behind the wall of Kaaba and not inside the Kaaba. This is what to approach, not to reach means. In returning to Allah, there are 3 stages, Arafat, Mashar and Mina, through which you must pass. They are not 3 places that you visit. It is important to be aware of the emphasis placed upon the periods of stopping at each stage, as well as the decision to pursue these stages. What do these stages signify? Allah Himself has already given them their heavenly names. Arafat means knowledge and science. Mashar means consciousness and understanding. Mina means love and faith. Go from Makkah to Arafat, lo, we are Allah's, and then return from Arafat to Kaaba, lo, unto Him we are returning. Arafat represents the beginning of man's creation. In the story of Adam's creation of mankind on earth, it is said, after Adam's descent onto earth, he met Eve at Arafat. It was there that they were acquainted with each other. The descent was when Adam was instructed to leave heaven after he did not listen to the advice of Allah and approach the sacred tree. That heaven was not the one which is promised for the hereafter, the final heaven. Covered with shrubbery and trees, Adam ate, drank and enjoyed himself, lived without any responsibilities and had no job obligations. He was quite satisfied until Iblis the La'in, a jinn who also rebelled. It was covered with shrubbery and trees. Adam ate, drank and enjoyed himself, lived without any responsibility and had no job obligations. He was quite satisfied until Iblis the accursed, the jinn who rebelled by not prostrating to mankind, started to inspire evil suggestions to him. Man, inspired by Allah, both the righteous and the debauched, was persuaded by Iblis to transgress his limitations, to not listen to the advice of his creator and metaphorically eat the forbidden fruit. Iblis told man that by doing so he would live a longer and more enlightened life. Wisdom alone did not affect man. Adam, after all, refused to eat the forbidden fruit. Satan then, it is said, met with Eve, who symbolized love, and only then did Adam agree to eat the forbidden fruit. Both wisdom and love influenced the angelic Adam and converted him into the human Adam. Adam, unlike an angel, though infallible, could commit sin if he wanted and then repent. he could disobey or obey. In this case, to disobey meant to have freedom. It included the ability to make decisions, yani to contrary to Allah's will. Concomitant with this liberty to decide was the notion of responsibility and consciousness. As a result, Adam's state of satisfaction, joy, and comfort was replaced by a new world, the land of needs, greed, and pains, or, as we say, descent. It was the beginning of a new life for the conscientious, the disobeying and responsible individual, Adam, who was the victim of pains, needs, and wants, and exile and feeling lonely. Victim of temptation, he was in the prison of earth. Experiencing apprehension over this separation, Adam expressed his complaints in the language of faith, knowledge, Gnosticism, art, literature, and life. He accepted the burden of disobeying his Creator, the natural apprehension of sin, and the instinctive desire for repentance. Though, as I say, in Islamic terms, this is called a tark-e-Awla rather than a sin, because there was no Sharia in those times. It was merely advised to stay away from the tree. How does Hajj relate to this? It is a living example of man's creation or his repentance. It encompasses self-consciousness, which includes the feeling of being a stranger and exiled, just as Adam felt exiled when he came into this world. Consequently, what emerges is a decision to return to the Lord and try your best. The conversion of the Adam of heaven to the Adam of this earth exemplified the character and behavior of mankind today. It was an illustration of the disobeying, aggressive, and tempted man who was swayed by Satan and Eve in this case. Although he was expelled from heaven, exiled onto the earth, and subdued by nature, Adam nevertheless ate from the fruit of the forbidden tree. What was the outcome? Adam acquired the taste of disobeying his Lord. And an insight into this, opening his eyes and finding himself naked, Adam entered the state of knowing the nature of his self, the nafs, himself. As was said previously, the descension from Kaaba to Arafat represents the beginning of man's creation. The time of man's creation was simultaneous to the creation of knowledge. The first spark of love emitted during the meeting of Adam and Eve promoted their mutual understanding of one another. It was the first sign of knowledge itself. Adam knew his wife of the opposite gender, who was of the same origin and nature that he was from. Consequently, from a philosophical point of view, man's existence was contemporaneous with the existence of knowledge. From a scientific point of view, man's history started with knowledge. How strange. During Hajj, the first move is initiated from Arafat. The stop at Arafat occurs in the daytime, beginning at noon of the 9th day when the sun is shining at its most. This time is designated so that you may gain consciousness, insight, freedom, knowledge, and love in the sunlight. At sunset, the stop of Arafat is over. Nothing can be seen in the dark. As a result, neither acquaintances nor knowledge prevail. With the setting of the sun in the plain of Arafat, people migrate to the west along with the sun. They continue until they reach Mashar, the land of consciousness. They stop there too. The stage following knowledge is that of consciousness. How strange. First knowledge, then consciousness. People take it for granted that consciousness precedes knowledge, but the creator of these two states of mind demonstrates the opposite sequence. Adam met Eve, who was the opposite gender. They shared their views, communicated their thoughts, and attained mutual understanding. Their individual life was terminated by the establishment of a family, which introduced social life and the creation of a conscious love. Furthermore, the unity of two human beings began with knowledge, and the evolution of knowledge contributed to man's consciousness. This gave birth to science, which increased the understanding and in turn enhanced man's consciousness. Where did this lead? to more scientific progress. When objectivity and the relation of an idea to the external world is based on reality, then wisdom will grow, comprehension will improve, and man's spiritual power will flourish. Minna, love. It would have been theological and metaphysical idealism had Arafat's knowledge been preceded by Mashar, yani consciousness. It would have been a materialistic and scientific life, but idle with spiritless civilization and aimless progress had Arafat's knowledge been the only stage. And it would have meant the lack of a present understanding of our faith had it only been for Mashar, yani the consciousness, and Minna, yani love, and without Arafat, yani knowledge. In this religion of Islam, man, a creature who was made of the meanest material of earth, and who came to power of being, the trustee of Allah, commenced his actions with knowledge. He comprehended the facts of this world by an objective method. Following this, he gained his consciousness. During this last stage, he created love. These stages are enacted by going from Arafat to Mashar, and from there ascending to the peak of human qualities and perfection, i.e. to Minar or to Allah himself. Realism? Yes, but as the principle, not the aim. It is a foundation from which you strive for the ideal and metaphysical, since according to the Islamic concept, man is made partly from mud and partly from the Spirit of the Lord. Your will and decision help you to migrate from mud to the Spirit of the Lord, the Ruh. This is what you will exercise when you pass these three stages of Arafat, Mashar, and Minar. In light of the concept which was just discussed, the meaning and beauty of the following words may be expressed. Faith, way, knowledge, awareness, prophecy, guidance, Ummah, a decided group, Imam, leader and guide, Shaheed and Shahid. The traffic signs, Ibadat, acts of devotion, or to pound and smooth the way, righteousness. To train yourself as a responsible individual to avoid things that remind you of yourself and the causes of your stagnation. The way of Allah, the way to sacrifice yourself and your world for the people, prayer. To present yourself to Allah, to call Him, to ask Him, to tell Him your needs, wishes, love and hate, to suggest to yourself and others, zikr, to bear in mind, to think, Hajj, to decide. You have arrived at Arafat, which is the farthest distance from Makkah. It is a dry plain, all covered by smooth sands. In its centre you can view the small rocky hill of Jabal al-Rahma, from which the Prophet, peace be upon him, and his progeny gave one of his last sermons. Often referred to in many people, this is the farewell sermon. To his followers during his final journey to Makkah, Arafat is a wonderful city which you visit for one day. It is gone with the wind after sunset prayers. Therefore, it is important to maximize your time here and spend the most time you can, from noon till sunset. There you will encounter a society of all races, so united as one nation without borders. It is as if the whole world is gathered at this plain under the white tents that extend from one horizon to the other. Where distinctions are minimum, aristocracy is too mean, and man-made beauties are ugly. You ask yourself, what am I supposed to see here? What am I supposed to see here? What work is to be done? The answer, nothing. You are free to do whatever you want. You may spend the day swimming in this great ocean of mankind, or you may even sleep all day. But remember that you are at Arafat. There is nothing to see here. As André Gide has said, the glory should be in your look and not in what you are looking at. Let your instincts and nature blossom under the clear sun of Arafat, the blazing sun of Arafat, the hot sun of Arafat. Lastly, in contrast to what man has done throughout history, do not run away from this sun. The sunshine, the light, the freedom, and the crowd always appear with the people. In the past, you lived under oppression and were kept ignorant, as moss in stagnated waters. Now, O man, come out of your tent, draw yourself into the deep ocean of people, and let your ego burn under the glowing sun of Arafat. Only for one day, O man, be as a candle burning and illuminating the hearts of these people. Do not be like wax and melt in the hands of the oppressors. Do not be a puppet. In any case, you are entitled to spend this day as you wish. What you are requested to do is only to stop and then leave the plain of Arafat at sunset. However, surely you would want to maximize it. What is the likelihood, for example, that you will be back here soon again? So you want to make the most of this opportunity.